Hi folks, how are you? You have seen in the last two videos substantive videos on EU law, and I want to make one additional comment here with regard to the comparison of the goods and services. You know that we, in the likelihood of confusion, we have talked about the similarity of the goods and services, and I gave you some criteria. So in the EU decisions, in the opposition decisions, you will get this building block here on the screen where you see the different possibilities of the criteria, I would say, the criteria of the similarity of the goods and services are lined out. And afterwards, you, in each decision, you will have the analysis with regard to each criteria which are applicable in the case of this or that goods and service. And you have to do it with all goods and services, one with the other, right? Okay, that was one. And another thing I would like to share with you was the first moment when I started out in a law firm. That was, I don't know, long ago. But it still remained in my mind what the conversation was with the main lawyer in that company. He told me, you are now surrounded all by enemies. The first enemy is your secretary. She may slip over some deadline, etc., and it is up to you afterwards to suffer the consequences. Your client is a major enemy. He may sue you for whatever reason of neglection or alleged neglection. The colleague who will be in court representing the country party will be your enemy, and the judge naturally is also your enemy. So I looked around and I didn't find any friends anymore. But the truth is, it helped me to get trust in yourself, and only in yourself, not trust anybody else, saying, I will do this, I will do that, and afterwards it is a mess. No, you have to be responsible yourself in the future. As many of you will go into law firms, I hope this may be helpful advice for you. Now, I had substantive lessons in the last two videos. I will have more strategic lesson here. Strategic in the sense that where do you want to file? Now, you have had a conversation with your client, and your client agrees with your suggestion based on the business strategy and supporting the business strategy by the defined IP strategy you have told him. So you wanted to make a trademark application in Europe. Now, we leave apart what was the German IP office, so the country-wise possibility, as this is from the standpoint of where you are in Africa, or in Southeast Asia and South America, Australia. There, it doesn't make sense to make a distinction between Germany and Luxembourg or France. So you would abroad, you would go to the whole European market. So there are now two options for you to choose from. One would be the international registration in the EUIPO system, the Madrid System. And the other would be EUIPO system, so the European Trademark System, which is managed by EUIPO in Alicante, Spain. Many of you have some experience with one the other, so I can probably go rather quick over one on and the other. So the International Bureau, the Madrid System, you need to have a home trademark in your home jurisdiction in order to be able to apply through the International Bureau in Geneva, in EUIPO. And then the decision taking, so in order to get to a title in the jurisdiction you want, is a bit more lengthy. It is 12 to 18 months in order to get a substantive decision from the individual country or the region. And then, well, you know how it goes more or less. You have only one one language to deal with, a good thing, and you have a lot of countries, a lot of jurisdictions to choose from in order to get the protection of your trademark. At the end, what you get is an individual trademark for that country or for that region. So you don't get something else you wouldn't get from an individual country, but the filing procedure is much easier to do, right? So it takes a bit longer. Then once you get the formality being done, formality check being done by the International Bureau, then it is sent to the country you have designated, and the substantive examination is being done by that country or that regional office. So that would be the way how it is dealt with in the International Bureau. Now the EUIPO, you can do it internet as well, right? That is no problem. Internet is very much used. It's 99% used in the EUIPO system. It is also 99% used in the EUIPO system. Now, if you do it through the EUIPO system, you have only one language to deal with, so that is a good thing. Although we have a specificity there, I will come to this when we deal with filings. Now, well, what we further have, you can do it internet through a fast track proceeding. So a fast track proceeding is very easily done, and I will go into detail as well in the filing video, but that is a possibility. So strategic considerations here, you get earlier probably a trademark in the EUIPO system. The filing date is more or less the same. So when you file, you get the filing date, which is an important issue for you because from then onwards you have protection, right? So I wouldn't say that there is much difference between one and the other. Once you want more countries to be covered than the European Union, then probably you would go to the International Bureau in Geneva, who then for Europe would send everything to EUIPO for substantive check. Although you have to carry on the burden that it takes longer in order to be processed, right? So that would be the backdrop between one and the other. And you have to decide on what to do, whether you want this one to be done or the other one to be done. Okay, this was the first thing, strategic consideration with regard to the filing. You go to one or the other. The filing video will only cover EUIPO. The International Bureau has own tutorials you may want to look up there. They have a long time established their things, so it will be easy for you to follow up that one. Now, the second thing I want to cover in this video is the proceedings, the overall proceedings, the overview of the proceedings within EUIPO. Not all proceedings are equal in all jurisdictions, right? So in EUIPO, and you want to compare after this with your own jurisdiction, in EUIPO we have the filing, right? And we have an formalities examination, so to say. And then afterwards you have a substantive absolute grounds examination that is within the EUIPO examiners, and they will come to a decision, or they will a decision to go ahead. So there is no absolute grounds which would be an obstacle in order to get your trademark registered. So it will go on, or they may think, well, there is a problem here with regard to one of the absolute grounds, which are mentioned in Article 7.1, and they have to send you an objection letter. And the objection letter, then you have 2 months. You are from non-European countries. You have 2 months in order to get to the objection letter responded. And then they take the decision, either positive or negative. It is negative, then you have an appeal right. okay, you can go to the boards of appeal. This is the next administrative instance you can appeal to, and the boards of appeal, they will issue their decision, whether positive or negative. It is negative, again, you can appeal to the General Court of Justice. That is a proper judicial court system. If it is positive for you, then they will refer back the issue to the examiner, who has to take another decision. So, admittingly, the examiner is happy and it goes through, then it is published. Published for the possibility of making oppositions by third parties, by other who have earlier rights within the sense of Article 8, paragraph 2 of the trademark regulation. We will come into that in a later stage. So once the publication has been done, 3 months, in order to introduce an opposition against it. So if opposition is in, then opposition division has to decide upon the opposition, whether it rejects the opposition or admits the opposition as substantially founded. So again, the losing party can go to the appeal boards of appeal within EUIPO, and afterwards, if still negative from the appeal, from the boards of appeal, they may go again to the General Court. That is how it works in the overall in EUIPO. So my point here is first publication, then a opposition, not the other way around. In some jurisdictions it is the other way around. So the registration is being done only after the opposition proceedings. And once you get registered, well, you have then the 10 years for protection of the trademark, which is covered by the basic fee, right? So this is an overview of what is going on in EUIPO filings and how it can go through process through the whole system. Now there's the possibility of cancellation, right? Cancellation is a bit outside because it starts not with your filing, it starts rather with the registry of your trademark. So once your trademark is registered, everything has gone through, then you may be subject to cancellation. Cancellation grounds, we will go into that at a later stage, but cancellation grounds are then introduced by the third party, and similar to opposition, there is a proceedings with the cancellation division, and afterwards, at the end of that part, a decision is being taken. Then afterwards, again, if you're negatively effective, you can go to the boards of appeal and to the General Court if the boards of appeal decides against you. So this makes an overall part of the proceedings within EUIPO. For each part you have to pay something. So if you want to introduce a opposition, you have to pay. If you want to introduce cancellation, you have to pay. If you want to file, you have to pay. If you want an appeal, you have to pay. The other party, if it is third party proceedings, and the defendant, so to say, in each case doesn't have to pay, right? So this was the main issue for today. I want you to congratulate. We have gone probably so far through the better half of the course. I suppose that we get to 12 sessions in total, so some 3 hours. I build much on your knowledge, so I do not go into detail and I do not explain into every detail. I think you are knowledgeable enough in order to get to grasp rather on the the special circumstances here in Europe, rather than explaining everything from scratch. Thank you for tuning in for today. Bye-bye.